Do you had a family members that supported your passion into this?
First, I don't think they do support me so much until that I'm able to support the family. Yeah, they're becoming very supportive.
Salam sejahtera and welcome back to another episode of KOHAI SEMBANG BANGKIT Malaysia. This episode is brought to you by KBS, Kementerian Belia and Sukan Malaysia, ESI, Esports Integrated, Rakan Muda and Rakan Muda Rakan Digital. So KOHAI SEMBANG BANGKIT Malaysia is a segment that we do is to bring on iconic people in the esports scene in Malaysia to sort of elevate the whole industry overall, right? So today we have none other than the GOAT himself in Dota, right? With 12 years of experience and someone that has left behind a legacy since day one of the Dota 2 career. So if you guys could welcome Mushi to the set. So Mushi, welcome to KOHAI Sembang Bangkit Malaysia. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. Feeling good.
Okay. So I just wanted to sidetrack for a little bit. So you started as a pro player for Dota 2. And
Mm.
then right now you are venturing into entrepreneurship, which is to your own business. So can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, I kind of stepped out for uh in dollar industry for I think about 1 year. I kind of go into the field industry for my business. Also about F&B and also I just started my PC shop named Mushi recently, and it's basically we build PC for everyone because I feel like this is one of my passion also because I love PC games, right? And whether it's Dota 2 or not, I still love PC games and I do play a lot of PC games. And it's my hobby to play a PC game, and I like to able to build affordable PC for everyone. If like everyone is needed a good gaming PC.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. So what were the difficulties that you faced while you were setting up this shop and how you managed to overcome it?
At first, I think my difficulties for opening the shop is finding the right person to do it because I'm a investor. I'm not an investor. I make this shop, right. I open this business, but I'm not the one who manage it mainly because I still have my own career. Like I back to coach for this year, right, and I need the right person to help me manage the business, and I just beside aside to help on it. So at first, I think are very difficult to find the right person to handle it, but just lucky let us like meet someone that is very easy to cooperate and he's very smart, and I think we worked very happy together, and there you go, we got the right person.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Mm.
So for any of our viewers out there, if they would like to visit your shop, like how they can what is the address they will go to?
Yeah, like I in the Facebook in the page Mushi, like you can find MUSH dash E. You can find our page over there, and we have a location there. Or you have anything about related to PC, you can also like message us there. Or there's also address that if you want to visit anytime, you can visit there. You know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I think a lot of our fans, I think include myself, will pay you a visit to the
Yeah.
shop. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
okay, back to the Bangkit Malaysia podcast. So with 12 years experience together, all
Mm.
together with over 16 teams, right? So you were
Yeah, I
labeled as
play more than 12 years.
more than 12 years. So
Yeah.
how many years?
If you want to talk about the whole career, I think I started it since Dota 1. Like, although
Total one.
back then in Dota 1, professional, uh,
Correct.
there's no professional to call it, right?
Yeah.
Until I think it was TI1, you can call
Mhm.
it like really professional. career.
Mm-hmm.
But back then before TI1 happened, uh, I already treated like it's one of my career because
Mm-hmm.
we also take sponsor, we also represent them to go competition, right? So I think
Mm-hmm.
if you count correctly, I think you have more than 16 years.
More than 16 years.
Yeah.
Back when you were still in Garena, is it?
Yeah.
It's true, Garena. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of memories. Okay.
Yeah.
So you also label many titles, right? So the most commonly one was the King of 1v1 in the mid lane, right?
Mhm.
So for people nowadays, um, just to give you guys some context. So basically, when people hear the word Mushi, they think it's a legend, lah, right? Because of, I think for Malaysians, for us in particular, we can be more proud because I think during the early stages of the Dota 2's esports scene, we already have like a team from Malaysia going to represent and putting a name of the map. Like people know, oh, this one is from Malaysia. So I think a lot of that legacy had to do with Malaysian pride, right?
Mm-mm.
Um, but how did it feel for you, like stepping into the big stage last time?
Yeah, I feel passionate because like I've been playing the games for so many years, right? And I definitely feel happy, enjoy about it because I love the game a lot. And when it's come to the part that when a lot of people that look up to me, I feeling proud of it, and of course I feeling pressure as well. Yeah, because I don't want to let them down, right? But like
Yeah.
yeah, but overall I feel very happy to be on the stage whenever
Mm-hmm.
I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So you also participated both as a player, from a
Mm,
player, then now to coach,
yeah.
right? So I think I have to ask you like, why did you pursue into esports in the first place?
Mm,
What was your why?
First, I didn't know that this will become a real career, I would say. I just
Mm-hmm.
love to play games and I just like keep playing and joining a lot of competition. And I'm a very competitive person. So that I never think so much back then. I would just keep playing because I wanted to win. And yeah, and like until TI is happened, and I found this opportunity that I can go to a pro and like I can really be proud of myself to say that this is my career as a professional gamer. Yeah, so
Okay.
it wasn't my intention at first, but yeah, got to there by luck. I would
Okay.
say luck is part of it.
Like it's part of it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. Do you had a like family members that supported your passion into this?
First, I don't think they do support me so much until that I able to support the family. Yeah, they're becoming very supportive.
Yeah, I think it always works out like that. But I think these days
Yes.
is a bit different because these days, they are more aware of like
Mm,
the careers in esports. But then back then it's like I think Dota 2 set the standard of like the tournament with the biggest prize pool at
mm.
the back then lah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why a lot of people is like, oh, this actually could be a viable career, all
Mm,
that stuff. Yeah. So uh we see a lot of the OG players, right,
mm,
back in the day, from when you're in Orange and stuff like that. Some of them not really in the scene anymore, but
mm-hmm,
for yourself, you're still continuing into to coaching.
mm,
So what was the transition like from player to coach? Was it easy for you to apply the
mm.
skills that you learned as a player?
Definitely is really much different, and it's because a lot of different. That's why I would like to step into the coach because I've been playing as a player for so many years, right? I'm just kind of tired of playing, I would like to have some change and I would like to do something different, which is but I also like to stay into this industry, right? And I know myself is not a good streamer, and I like to stay with the team together. So I think coach is one of the good option for me.
Mm-hmm.
So being a coach is not as easy as a player, I would say, because like when I'm a player or even I'm captain, I'm just like maybe monitoring. I'm not like monitoring the player as much as when I'm coach. I'm more on like focusing myself as a player and
Mm-hmm.
like playing a lot of games. But when you transition into the coach, like you have to see everything, like how is everyone, their emotion, the drafting, the opponent, the strategy, and about us also. So yeah, so it's definitely not easy. Yeah, still learning lah, still learning, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what were there any other struggles besides like, uh looking after a whole team instead of yourself as from coaching?
Sorry, do you mind to repeat
The
again?
the struggles that you face, right, as a coach compared to being a player.
Mm,
The
mm, mm,
the main thing will be like you have to take care of five people,
mm,
five other
mm,
people
mm.
instead of like, you focus on your game and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They're struggling for something for sure lah. It's like uh, when I was players, I was most likely a captain in every team, right? So if I have a coach, I would say it's easier for me because I will more likely to following the coach because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very like disciplined kind of guy, so that I'm really following the rules. But when I'm the coach, like I feel something is different. Like I feel like in this day, not everyone is very disciplined, and like it's very hard for them. Sometimes it's very hard for me to make everyone into the same picture and into like the discipline that I want. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not that easy, but we have to find a way to make them on the right path, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think there that's like very insightful from your past and the experience.
Mm.
So for now we want to talk about, like, because now TI is in sort of like in a weird spot, right? It
Mm.
started with the biggest prize pool with the compendium, and then slowly with the past 2 years we start to see like the prize pool getting a lot lesser and lesser. What are your thoughts about this?
I think why the prize pool has become so big in privacy is because mainly because of compendium, right? And everyone is supporting the tournament around the world. But since the WAF, I would say mainly is because WAF didn't like paying so much attention on the game anymore, I would say, or maybe they have some different strategy that we don't know yet. Yeah, but it's already few years, which is most likely a no lah. So I would say that they are not paying so much attention on the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think this change is actually quite hurt for the dollar industry, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I heard a lot of news that they were preparing for a different game,
Mm.
which is already in beta. I think deadlock, right?
Yep. Yep.
So we don't know whether like they want to focus their attention to that game, or maybe they're developing like a different, like an evolution for Dota 2, right?
Yeah.
But we still see like the community is still very big, and every year they're still like quite upset, like, oh, the prize pool is small, but then the fans are still there. When you go to any offline events, the it's always full house, right? So yeah, I think it's quite, for me it's quite hurtful to see, because sometimes we see like, oh, we're attracted by the big prize pool, and even the last one that was the biggest, I think it was um the one that Team Spirit won, right? Yeah.
$14
That one
million.
was
Yeah.
yeah, that one was the biggest one.
Yeah.
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 So um, do you think that is also a cause or factor that there are lesser newer players in the scene these
Mm,
days?
it definitely will affect it lah. But I think we can still see some of the young players or young talent is coming up, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just not from C and China. They are
Mm-hmm.
mainly from the Europe and yeah and the South and the American side also.
Mm,
Yeah,
correct.
because I think the mainly focus on Southeast Asia and China, they're more focusing on the mobile game. But
Mm-hmm.
for the Western side, they are more focused on the PC game. So that's why you can still see some young talents coming up from that region. But
Mm-hmm.
in Southeast Asia, they're not really having so much player right now.
Yep. So
Mm,
I think one of the examples for this one would be Satanic. I think he's very young.
mm,
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's 16, 16 or 17
mm,
years old. It was back
mm,
like when Sumail first started playing
yeah, yeah.
pro, right? So
Mm,
we see a lot of like newer talents these days, not only him. So
mm,
what how big of the gap would you say the difference in like the play style and the mechanics from the players now compared to when you first started playing?
mm. It's a hard question for me to answer, but I would say that right now that every team and every players are more focusing on the team movement and the way that they want to execute their team strategy more. So basically, it's more on like a whole team lah. Basically, right now they have a very high individual skill, but right now I would say the meta also like you wouldn't see so much of like individual move anymore. You will see more like team movement, a lot of team. Yeah.
A
So
lot of
I
macro
think
player.
yeah. So slightly different compared to before lah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So since you've experienced a lot of different meta changes in your career, what was
mm,
the most enjoyable one to play in and watch?
mm. If you asking me to play, I do enjoy every meta actually because you know that I've been playing for so long, right? So so that every changes for me is exciting. At first for sure is hard lah. You know, everyone is talking about this is not Dota 2 anymore, it's Dota 3. I heard this every patch. But everyone still like to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get used to the new thing, you found the interesting in it, right? So I feel like every meta is very exciting for me. But like the tournament watch, I would say mm, I would say I still remember those days that when it's TI3, the finals,
Mm-hmm.
like Alliance against the
Alliance
Navi,
Navi,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's so intense the games,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's very exciting to watch it. You know, like
Yep.
before the break, before the throne breaks, you will never know who is the winner, right?
Correct. Yeah, as especially the big play by S4. Yeah,
Yeah.
to stop their TP back, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, the meta changes is uh definitely very refreshing, especially with the
Mm-hmm.
recent one. Like the map gets a lot more bigger, got a lot more
Yeah.
bigger, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people also complain that they didn't really like the Wave Pack Zoo meta.
Mm-hmm.
The one where what was the team again? Tundra. I think Tundra won
Mm-hmm.
with that meta. So I think then after that they proceeded to like nerf it and then like just remove the item as a whole. Um, so with all these other like changes, and I would say the pace of these changes for the game is relatively quick lah, right? It happens, I think, um, not very frequent, but also not long enough to keep players bored, right? So where would you see Dota 2 will be in the next maybe 5 years?
Mm, to be honest, I'm not really sure about it. Yeah, like you can see, like there's still a lot of tournament in the international event. Like I think yeah, because I'm still coaching and I still very busy with my schedule, and a lot of tournaments still ongoing. Although the prize pool in the international is like it's not that high anymore, but the
Mm-hmm.
other tournament the prize pool is still very big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also know that the WAF is not uh putting their effort so much in Dota 2, right?
Mm.
So to be honest, I'm not sure about what's 5 years later in Dota 2, you know. I
Okay.
hope that like it's still there. I hope that there's still a lot of tournament in Dota 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not how I can predict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe one day they come out Dota 3 or so, then we have a newer, fresher scene, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
S-
Mm,
So we we also see like last time we we used to grow up playing a lot of PC games, right? So Dota 2,
mm,
CS, all that stuff. If we
mm,
didn't have a PC at home, we will go to a cyber cafe, right?
yeah.
So, but these days, I think games are m- much easier to access, right? So like mobile
Mm,
phone, now you have Mobile Legend, you have uh Honor of Kings, right?
mm.
Um, what are your thoughts on these changes? Like, okay, from your shift from the PC to like the mobile one.
Mm. I would say I would say the requirement to play games are much lower because like if you need a PC, right, you can only play games like you need a space, you need a proper PC to play games, right? But
Mm,
compared to mobile game is you don't really so much, you know, you just have need one mobile and then you can play games and then you can
mm,
play competitive, you can enjoy your game there. So and I think the main thing is also because the mobile game, the duration of one game is much lesser than PC game.
mm,
Yeah, so I think everyone can play in everywhere, I would say.
mm,
Yeah, so I think this is what make mobile game interesting, I would say. Yeah,
mm,
but I think both has good and bad, to be honest. PC game is like high quality games
mm,
and like yeah, so I would say both has good and bad lah.
mm. Yeah.
Mm,
So we see a lot of the Malaysian audience,
mm,
um, when they play professional for these games,
mm,
for mobile one in particular, they always have a lot of full Malaysian team, as in like 5 player, always from Malaysia. But for Dota, right, we have Malaysian players, we have a lot, including
mm,
yourself, right? For like the current generation, we see a
mm,
lot of Malaysian players, but they are not a Malaysian team. It's just that they will
mm,
probably play for China, uh,
mm.
play for Europe. Like you see, like Ex Nova and nothing to say, right? So, what do you think would be the cost behind this, like this kind of movement?
Yeah, the first place is Malaysia has no not really focus on this game anymore. I would say, and also that back then why there's few Malaysian team in the international event, right? Like back then in Dota 2 event, like in the international, you can see two full Malaysian team in one international event. It's because like everyone back then is only play Dota 2, and there's a lot of young talents coming up, and
Mm-hmm,
everyone is sponsoring the professional team, right? So you can see a lot of sponsorship are there, the audience are there, the fans are there, supporting are there. When you have everything, yeah, definitely the industry will growing up. But I would say right now we have still a lot of talent player, talented players, but not enough. And also we don't have a lot of sponsorship for the Dota 2 especially. So everyone is just like looking for the opportunity to go overseas to
Hmm.
pursue in their career lah.
To continue, yeah,
Mm,
that's a very fair statement. So, um, we also see like a lot of different countries, they sort of like restrict let's say like younger players into coming into the scene. Let's say for instance like China, right? So China, they implemented a law where for younger gamers under the age of 18, they
mm,
can only play like maybe 2 to 3 hours a week,
mm,
right? So with all these other factors, because we see like there's a lot of talents coming out from China as well, right?
yeah.
Maybe not as frequent as Europe, because
Mm,
Europe, maybe their laws there allow them to start going professionally much earlier, right? So would you see the scene in China and see in Southeast Asia, the scene will lean more towards Europe in like the near future or so?
what do you mean?
Means like last time we have like China and Southeast Asia in like all these big tournaments and stuff like that. Because of this law, right? Would they slowly move to like, oh, majority would be like Europe and South America, lesser China and Southeast Asia teams?
Mm, definitely, I think in mobile game, I think Southeast Asia is still a leading.
Hmm.
Asia, like, I would say Asia is still leading of the industry as in mobile game. But if you
Hmm.
talk about PC games, I think definitely Europe is like definitely everyone is look up to lah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm. Okay, right.
yeah.
So the last question I got to ask,
Yeah.
what does the future look like for you in the next couple of years? Will you continue being a coach for a team, or would you consider retiring from the scene altogether?
But I have a plan for my upcoming years already. Like I don't think I will stay in Dota 2 as a coach for long. I would say maybe it will be a last year for me this year, in the next year, or maybe yeah, that's my plan. Like last year, tomorrow. I mean last year, next year. But we will never know, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
also after that, I would continue with my business, and
Mm-hmm.
also if I have an opportunity, I will like still in the gaming industry. I will like doing something for the esports scene lah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure what it is, but like we will see if we have the opportunity lah. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay, right.
yeah,
So right now we move into the NESDEG segment. So
yeah.
NESDEG is basically the National Esports Development Guideline, which
Mm-hmm.
is like a blueprint to keep a high standard lah for the esports scenes in Malaysia. They
Okay.
want to raise the standard, they want to elevate the scene, so they have to come up with a lot of blueprint and SOPs that every single uh, team and player need to comply, right? So
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
your years of experience, right, you've been through
Mm-hmm.
many teams. What
Mm-hmm.
were what was the most important uh, aspect when looking into a player team contract?
How about my industry in Dota 2?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like what we have to look at is rules and regulation, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
see that what is not really makes sense for you, and like one thing that you really need to look into is how many years of your contract, because in Dota 2 that most of the team they are doing year by year lah, okay, but uh I I I heard many of the China team they are making the players to sign like more than 2 years or maybe 3 years, like because they want to lock you in there, right? And basically you cannot leave the team, and if you want to leave, you need a buyout from the other organization, right? Actually, as for me, it's a little bit ridiculous. And yeah, so most of the time, like this is what we need to care of lah. Like how many
Mm-hmm.
years of your contract, and is there any else that is too much in your rules and regulation? This all you need to take care of lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
were there moments that you were also in that situation?
Not really. I will never
Not
let that
really.
happen to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess when you entered the scene at that time, you were quite familiar with how you get by
Yeah.
contracts, right?
Yeah.
So um the next thing I would ask is, what advice could you provide to like KBS in order to improve the local esports scene, especially
Mm.
for competitive Dota 2?
Mm. I would say for the Malaysia esports scene is just more exposure for the esports scene and more tournament and yeah and more for fans community are there already. It just really depends on how we wanna use the resource how we wanna use the resource, right? Like the fan base are there. But definitely we need more sponsor on it, more clubs, more sponsors, more tournament, more league. This all that
Mm,
can improve the esports scenes. But for Dota 2, I would say something different. Like I think putting a lot of sponsorship into this industry um is not a wise move
mm-hmm,
because we don't have really have new talents coming up, and because it is like this in Malaysia, right? There's never a good League of Legends team
mm-hmm.
happening, right? So
Correct.
it's because every country has their own game. It's
Mm,
just because like in Korea, back then you have one Dota team, but
yeah,
in Korea mostly is League of Legends.
yeah.
So yeah, so we have to follow the what's the country what's a
Mm,
Malaysian like to play, right? So if
mm,
Malaysia like to play mobile games, you definitely have to put more support on there. Definitely Malaysia still have a lot of people, a lot of players like Dota 2, but I would I would hurtful to say it's not as much as before anymore. But
mm,
if there is a Malaysia team that are representing Malaysia to go to international event or going to represent our country, uh, I would hope for KBS to sponsor them because yeah, this team and this guy is still one of the best in the world lah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right.
Mm,
So, just want to talk about your latest qualification for ESR1 Bangkok yesterday,
mm,
right?
mm,
So, what was the feeling like with the team?
mm. I think it's feeling good. Be the only one team that represents C, right? And because I would say lately Southeast Asia team are not doing so well in the international event, and yet I back to the tier one tournament is very happy for me. But I think most happy for me is that because Southeast Asian team, including my team, like we have such a big gap
Mm-hmm.
between us and the international team right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say that this is a really good start for all of us in Boom,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very good opportunity for us to have a chance to fight against them. And I hope that this tournament will give us uh, get closer with our gap between each
Mm-hmm.
other, and I think it's a very good opportunity for us to learn from them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also this is a very good start for all of us, and I hope that we will keep doing it and represent our South Asia. Yeah.
You mentioned there's the gap from Southeast Asia compared to like European teams and international teams, right?
Yeah.
What could you advise to sort of like close, like make the gap closer, or like just bridge the gap? Would it be like, to go more boot camps or go more training for the team?
I would say you there are they're the best in the world right now. The Western team, Europe team, right? They're best in the world right now compared to South Asia and also China. We were not
Mm-hmm.
doing so well as we do before. But how do we close our gap? I would say it's not just practice. It's more on we need to start thinking like them, start thinking of what they are thinking, and also start practicing like how they practice, basically. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we cannot just keep playing without using using our brain, right? We need to
Mm-hmm.
like thinking why they think this will work.
Mm-hmm.
How can they play this one? How can they execute this plan? All of these details. We need to
Mm-hmm.
start thinking like them, and as will get us closer to our game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and if you understand how they think, you definitely can have a chance to play against them. Like if you just keep acting like um like acting we are the best in the world, then but we are not, and basically we'll get crushed by them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Mm,
So, that's it I have for Kohai
mm,
Sembang Bangkit Malaysia. Right.
mm,
So, thank you so much for your time. Any closing thoughts that you may have?
yeah, I always like to thanks all my fans and thanks everyone putting me in such a high profile people, right? And I couldn't thanks more for everyone to always supporting me and yeah, still look up to me lah. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, with that, I will have to say I think that's it for here. Right. So, I'll
Yeah.
see you guys on the next episode. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below who we should interview next. Right. So, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.